In the last video, we discussed about the pH, and now we're going to discuss about the osmotic effect, the osmotic pressure and osmotic environmental effect it affect on the growth of that microorganism. So osmotic pressure depend on the surrounding of your solute concentration and the water availability. So whenever the microorganism going to grow at that situation, the environmental pressure also termed as a osmotic pressure and water availability to the external environment may affect on the growth of that microorganism. Then water availability, it is generally expressed in the physical terms such as a water activity. So how much of water it is present in the external environment, it is termed as a water activity. So here we can observe some different types of terminology where the environmental factor, that is osmotic effect and water activity, on the basis of that they are classified into six different types. Okay, so let me see the organism which thrive in a high solute. Okay, so external solute it is more, then it is termed as a osmophiles. They are termed as a osmophile. Then organism which tolerate the high solute means first the microorganism may affected by solute, and second one it is tolerated means may not affected by that your high external solute. They are termed as a osmotolerant. Second one it is called as a osmotolerant. Next one it is the organism which thrives in a high salt. If the environment it is having high salt, then they termed as a halophiles. They are termed as a halophile, and it can be tolerated by your high salt. They are called as a halotolerant. Next one, the organism which thrives by high pressure, they are called as a barophiles. If they are affected by the high pressure, they are called as a barophile, and if they are tolerated at high temperature, they are called as a barotolerant. So on the basis of that solute, salt and pressure, they are classified into six different points. It is osmophiles, that is your osmophiles, then osmotolerant, then halophiles, halotolerant, borophiles and your borotolerance. Okay, this type of question might be asked in your GPAT exam. So here a few examples of microorganism, they are affected by your affected or maybe survive in that of your watery environment. Now the most important point we are going to discuss, that is the nutrition, that microbial nutrition. Now first point we discuss about the environmental material or environmental situation by which the microorganism and its growth can be affected. Now we are basically concentrate on the requirement of the microorganism, that is a nutrient material. So why the nutrition material, or why the nutrition it is important? Let's see. The hundred of chemical compound they are present inside the living cell are formed from the nutrients. Okay, so when we know that microorganism can easily develop, so they get developed because of the presence of the different types of nutritional material, and those nutritional material they get utilized by different types of cell component, and then and only then those microorganism can develop. So those nutritional material it is most important for the growth of that microorganism. So those nutritional material are divided into two different types. First one it is macronutrient, second one it is your micronutrient. Macro means they required in a large amount, and micro means they required in a small amount. Okay, so the main your macronutrients are, let's we see here, the carbon. First one it is carbon, 50% your dry weight. Second one it is your nitrogen, it is 12% of your dry weight. So these are macro, first macronutrient they are required for the development. Then the autotrophs are able to build all of their cell organic molecule from your carbon dioxide. Okay, So when we have, or those microorganisms have the carbon dioxide, those microorganisms can develop their all essential organic material from that of your carbon dioxide. Then nitrogen mainly incorporate in a protein nucleic acid. If we required, if the microorganism required that nitrogen it is present in the protein and nucleic acid. So that protein and nucleic acid they get utilized for the development of your microorganism. Then most of the bacteria can use that ammonia and can use that nitrogen oxide. Then nitrogen fixer can utilize the atmospheric nitrogen. So the requirement of nitrogen it is satisfied by this type of different options by your microorganism. Now the microorganism growth requirement, the source of carbon for basic structure. The carbon it is required for the basic structure development. Then it is also source of your cellular energy, means ATP or related compound to derive the metabolic reaction. Different types of metabolic reaction and development of your ATP, again that carbon it is required. Then source of high energy electron hydrogen reducing power, typically in a form of NADP and NADPH. So this type of metabolic reaction and different types of enzyme they get utilize that type of CO2, and it can be grow for the it can be go for the development of your microorganism. Then regarding to your nitrogen, the nitrogen, although many of biological compound within the living organism they contain the nitrogen and N2 in the most of abundant compound in a air, but very few organisms can fix or utilize that nitrogen by converting into the ammonia. Okay, so nitrogen it is present into the environment as well as in the different types of nutritional material, but very few type of microorganism they are having that type of skill to fix that nitrogen or fix into the ammonia situation or ammonium component. Okay, if they are not going to fix that nitrogen, then there will be a deficiency of your nitrogen component. The nitrogen is often growth limited as organism must find as a source of your NH4 by the biosynthesis. So different types of biosynthesis process, the NH4 ion it is synthesized and it can be utilized by the microorganism. Then photosynthetic organism and many of microbes can reduce the NO3 to NH4 formation. Number of photosynthetic process they will reduces that nitrogen. Last lecture we discussed about that photosynthetic microorganism. Okay, now the macronutrient, again that of your carbon dioxide as well as your nitrogen, few other macronutrients are there. They are like your phosphate, sulfur, potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium and iron. These are the macronutrients, they are also required. In that, iron play a major role in a cellular respiration, being a key of component of your cytochrome and iron sulfur protein involved in the electron transport. So third one important constituent we see that first one it is carbon, second one it is nitrogen, and third one we see that the iron play an major role for the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration means again your exchange of your oxygen, carbon dioxide and all these process for your development of your microorganism, as well as iron sulfur protein involved in the electron transport. The sulfur and iron they are also participate in electron transport processes, as well as the iron binding agent that cell produces to obtain the iron from the various insoluble material. So here the complex of or the binding it is observed in that iron, and that iron can get collected collected the different types of iron from insoluble material. So again your sulfur, iron are macronutrient required for the development of your microorganism. Now here few micronutrient. Up till now we discuss about the macronutrient which are required in a large amount. Now we are going to discuss about the micronutrient. They are required in a very less amount. Now here we can observe the element which are required, like the boron, chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, then manganese, and your second one is molybdenum. So these are the micronutrients which are required for the development of your cell. And again in that there are having need very little amount, but they are critical for the cell function. They are used as a enzyme cofactors. Okay, so they are again micronutrient required for the development. Like example, your nickel, then cesium, tungsten, then vanadium and zinc. These are most micronutrient. They are work as an enzyme, but they are required for the development of your microbial growth. Okay, so here the classification of organism based on oxygen utilization. Now here we are concentrating on all those microorganisms. They are survive in the situation of utilization of oxygen, and there are again number of microorganisms. They are survive without the presence of microorganism, or might be in a situation of presence of oxygen the microorganism can't survive. So on the basis of that, the classification of microorganism, it is on the basis of your oxygen utilization. So they are classified into 4 to 5 different types of class. In the diagrammatic representation we can observe that the upper part here the microorganism present means the oxygen concentration, it is higher toward the upper side and lower to the lower the concentration of oxygen at the basement or lower side. So here we can observe that first class, it is obligate strict aerobic required oxygen in order to grow. Means class first, it is obligate aerob, means they require the oxygen. So high oxygen level those microorganisms can easily survive. So they are termed as a obligate aerob. Aerob means they are survive in a oxygen condition, so they are aerob. Second one, it is obligate strict anaerobe, cannot survive in a oxygen. Second one, it is obligate anaerobe, means they are strictly not required that oxygen. So where the less oxygen they are survive, so at the low level they are easily survive, so they are called as a obligate anaerobe. Next one, it is facultative anaerobe, grow better in a oxygen. Facultative anaerobe means certain situation they are quite survive in a low temperature, but during the high concentration they are going to also survive in that situation, but they are more target toward the high concentration of your oxygen. So here we can observe that the few amount of microorganisms are also survive in the low concentration, but maximum are survive in that of high concentration of oxygen. So they are termed as a facultative anaerobe. Now next one we are going to observe here, it is your aerotolerant organism don't care about oxygen. Now this is the one of the class, that is aerotolerant organism do not care about oxygen, means if there is no oxygen they can survive easily. So here in that diagram they are spread in all over the environment uniformly, and they get survive in any type of situation. High temperature of oxygen and low temperature of, high amount of oxygen and low amount of oxygen, they are easily survive in that situation. So here we are going to observe all over the environment that oxygen that microorganism are easily survive. And last one, it is the micro aerophilic required low level of oxygen. This is also one of the class where the aerophile they required low level of oxygen, means where the low level of oxygen they get survive. Now they are divided into basic two types. First, in the first description we discuss about all the different classes. Now they are divided into two types. First one, it is your aerobes, and second one, it is your anaerobe. Now aerobe, first it is obligate, means required oxygen for the growth. Then second one, it is facultative, means can live with or without the oxygen but grow in a better oxygen. And third one, it is microaerophilic, they required reduced oxygen level. So these are the three categories. They are belong from your aerobes, that is obligate, facultative, and your microphiles. And two categories are, first one it is tolerant anaerobe, they can be tolerated oxygen but grow better without oxygen. And next one, it is obligate, they do not require any type of oxygen for the development, or obligate aerobes are killed by the oxygen. Okay, so these are the two classes by which they are divided. And here they are having different types of example, we can refer by this presentation. Now here we can observe there is a one instrument, we are going to focus on that point. It is simply called as the aerobic jar, or it is also called as gas pack system. This is called as a gas pack system. Now when we going to observe, or we have to do any type of experiment where the requirement of your oxygen, it is essential or not essential, we can observe by that experiment or by that instrument. Basically by going to refer for that diagram, we have to refer the book of our pharmaceutical microbiology by your Cochrane. So in that book we are having the simple diagram. It is a gas pack system diagram. So in that gas pack system diagram, here that is a external diagram we are going to observe. And if we are focused on that, here it is also titled, that is gas pack plus. So here we can easily do that identification of how that microorganism get survive or not survive in that situation. So in that gas packs method, we are observed that the anaerobic jar, we are preparing the anaerobic jar, means here we are creating the environment where the microorganism in where they are categorized in a anaerobic situation. Anaerobic situation means there is absence of your oxygen. So how we are going to create it? The gas pack, it is commercially available as a disposable envelope. Okay, so in that kit, it is having a one disposable envelope which containing the chemicals which generate the hydrogen and carbon dioxide on addition of water. Okay, so in that instrument, it is having one jacket or one disposable envelope. Okay, so when we are adding the water in that situation or in that container, the it will produces the hydrogen and carbon dioxide when we are adding the water. Okay, so the presence of cold catalyst in the envelope, it permit to the combination of your hydrogen and oxygen to produces the anaerobic environment. Okay, whenever we are adding that type of water into the that envelope, it will form hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Now there is a combination of your hydrogen oxygen which will produces the situation as that of your anaerobic environment. It will produces the anaerobic environment, means there is a very less amount of your oxygen. So it will reduces the methylene blue. It is generally used for the verification of anaerobic condition in this jar. Okay, so again I repeat that point. There is a one section here we can observe that the screw, it is present, by that screw we are going to pack that proper environment. But after that lead, there is a one section that is it is called as a catalyst reaction chamber. It is having the catalyst reaction chamber, where in that instrument it is added the methylene blue. So when we are adding that water, that methylene blue, if it is it is sorry if it is change the color, if it is change the color as a blue, then it shows the exposure of your oxygen. And if it not converted its color to the blue, means it is a proper environment created, that is absence of your oxygen. So whole this situation it is created by this environment. And here we can observe that isn't those microorganism can present, or it is absent, or it is survive in that situation. Okay, so during that situation, that anaerobe lack of superoxide dimutase and catalase, means if we required that oxygen, we required that superoxide dimutase and catalase. Those content are absent in that jacketed environment. Due to that absence of oxygen, so there is a absence of oxygen which produces simply anaerobic condition. So anaerobic needed less oxygen, or sometime the oxygen can be removed by this type of process. Okay, so simultaneously here we can observe the same situation. Here consider the same situation. Here there is one candle, and here petri plate we are placed here, and we are observing the tube that having the liquid media, it having a liquid media, and the petri dish which is having the solid media. So this both the location in the test tube as well as petri dish, it is having the medium. But we are going to pack by your lead, and it is glass jar, means there is no exchange of any type of oxygen from the environment. So here the burning candle, it produces the CO2, means excessive amount of CO2 it is generated in this environment. And after that the oxygen it get very low in that of environment. And still if the microorganism can grow in that situation, means we are 100% conclude that the microorganism, they are termed as a anaerobic type of microorganism. Here we are observed by these two type of diagrammatic representation. First one, it is your aerobic jar, or also called as a gas pack system in this diagram. And second one, here we can observe that candle jar or candle glass jar. Here we are going to conclude that the microorganism can be survive in the anaerobic situation. Okay, so next part we will discuss in the next lecture.